Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Abdullah Patel English High School and Yati Junior College. Let's start by our subject history. As we have completed by our two chapters, I hope you have completed the exercise of both the chapter in your book. Let's start by our chapter number 3, that is India and European colonialism. When we are studying about colonialism, in our last chapter, we studied about colonialism in neighboring countries. Today, in this chapter, we are going to learn about the countries who ruled in India and European colonialism. So, who are they? So, our chapter is divided into 4 parts: Portuguese, British, Dutch, and French. So, part 1 of our chapter, let's start by this. See, 3.1 deals with Portuguese, 3.2 British, 3.3 Dutch, 3.4 French. Let's start by the Portuguese. As in our previous lesson, we have learned about European colonialism and an impact on world history. As we have seen, what was the impact of the world history on one history? In this lesson, we are going to learn about the spread of colonialism in India and its impact only on India, on our country which capture India. So the first country who captured India was Portuguese, as you all know. Vasco da Gama, right? See, earlier our India was divided into two parts: northern kingdoms and southern kingdoms. Northern kingdoms were ruled by Gupta dynasty, Mauryan dynasty, Mughals dynasty, and various other small kingdoms were there who were ruling North India. Southern rulers were also there. Over there also we have studied in our 11th standard who were the southerns, right? Adil Shahi, Nizam Shahi, Shivaji Maharaj, Maratha dynasty. This was there in the southern India. Now we have to see the countries which have captured India. So the first name which come over here who discovered India was by Vasco da Gama. As we have already studied in our earliest chapter about Vasco da Gama, he was a seafarer. Belongs to Portuguese. He was a seafarer. Where he reached? He reached at the port of Calicut. Earlier, Calicut was called as Kozhikode. In the year, which year? 1498. Once he landed on the Indian coast, at that time what happened? Portuguese did not take long to establish their hold in India. By the beginning of the 16th century, Portuguese had brought a considerable portion of the Indian coast under their control. Once they reached or they landed on the Indian port, they took advantage of it. See, this is Vasco da Gama, the seafarer who has discovered our country India. And see, next to him the map is given earlier. See, Vijayanagar is you can see Calicut at very on the coast. See, Cochin. I hope it is visible to you people. So this Portuguese took the advantage of the strained relation among the various rulers in South India, what they were having. They have gotten a golden opportunity of having relation with the kings over here in southern India. They established their colonies on the western coast and they built forts for their protection and used them to protect their colonies from external attacks and reinforce them continuously with supplies by using seaways. So there were small kingdoms earlier, but they have established their forts. Why? As to have their protection from the external attack from the other country or from the other enemies. So they have reinforced them continually with the supply by using seaways. The Portuguese naval force means military of navy, was very strong. They used to launch sudden attacks on their enemy's territory from sea and work it completely. Work it means destroy it completely. You can see the map. On the map you can see Africa, Asia, and below here see we are having India and the Indian Ocean. Okay, down we are having Indian Ocean. So they are having so much of capability that they can destroy their enemies' territory. So strong naval force they were having. The Indian local rulers could not match the Portuguese in their war tactics, what the way they are having of fighting, the military they were having. So that much strong power, the Indian ruler, local rulers, the small kingdoms were not having that much of power to face Portuguese. Later, when they established their firm control on the Indian Ocean, you can see Indian Ocean in the map. In Indian Ocean, it become necessary for the Indian ruler to get a license when they have a control complete on our country. So they have set a compulsion that each and every ruler of India should have a license. Earlier it was known as cartes, where whoever the seafarer will be, whoever the person who are sailing in the ocean should have a license. The license will comprises of name of the captain, how much luggage he is taking, what is the luggage, what type of luggage it is. Each and every minute detail was included in this license, and that was compulsory for each and every sailor to be sailing in the Indian Ocean. If the local rulers dared to set out on the sea without a Portuguese license, the ship were either seized or sunk by force. And if a ruler deny of using that license, if they are not want the Portuguese license, so what the people were doing, either they just seized, they capture the ship, or maybe sunk by force, the military, the naval force, what they were having, the strong naval force. So they sunk the whole ship under the water. The Portuguese had become so powerful that even the mighty Mughals and the Sultanates, again I am repeating, they were so strong, they were so powerful that even the mighty Mughals and the Sultanate in the south had to buy a license from them. Just imagine, Mughals and Sultanates, the powerful rulers of our India at that time, they were also forced to buy license from them. By the year 1608, which year? 1608, the Portuguese had their colonies on the western coast of India at Diu, Daman, Chaul, Goa, including Shasti and Bardesh. Now Shasti today it is a part of Maharashtra and Bardesh is a part of Goa today. Okay, earlier it was included in Goa. Hanover, Gangoli, Basrur, Mangalore, Kannur, Kodangular, Kochi and Kollam. Similarly, on the eastern coast, they had trader colonies at Nagapattinam, Mylapore, or also Sao Tome, Santom and Hooghly in Bengal. This stretch of the Portuguese Empire had its capital at Goa. Now see, each and everywhere they are having their rule, whether it is western coast of India or it is eastern coast of India, everywhere they are having their rule and they made capital at Goa. Now see, today till today, Portuguese, we can find the essence of Portuguese at Goa whenever we visit Goa. So over there we find the essence of Portuguese over there. We find the architecture over there in Portuguese style. Okay, so Goa was the capital city of Portuguese. From there they were ruling to this parts of our coastal areas, western coast as well as eastern coast of India. Now moving further, the Portuguese colonies had spread from Cape of Good Hope to Macau in China. They all were considered to be the part of Indian Empire of the Portuguese, Estado da India. There were several office holders appointed by the Portuguese king. Now see, earlier the Portuguese colonies had spread from Cape of Good Hope. You can see the image over here. This was a place where, see the picture. In this picture you can see this was the first place where Portuguese sailor Vasco da Gama has landed, and after this he landed on the port of Calicut. Okay, so over there they consider to be the part of Indian Empire. Estado da India means a part of India, and over there they have started there were several officers holders appointed by the Portuguese king. Who were they? Viceroy, Capitano Geral, that is Viceroy and General of the Army, whose tenure was of ruling for of 3 years. 3 years he can rule. There used to be an advisory board who give suggestion, who give advice. There was also an advisory board to assist the Viceroy, which included the Archbishop, then this is their language, Portuguese language, Okay, Archbishop of Goa, judge, that is the chancellor, in charge of company's possession, Vedaroda Fazenda, captain, that is Captain, and a new aristocrat, a few aristocrat from Portugal. Viceroy used to be the presiding head of this administrative setup. So this was the administrative setup of the Portuguese people, what they have done. Captain, Viceroy, Chancellor, that is the judge, and Archbishop of Goa. So these were the people who were ruling, who were managing the administrative system at that time. Moving further, in the earlier half of the 17th century, 5 ships used to be arrive every year in the Indian port. Now it was a rule that at the 17th century only 5 ships can be arrive every year. In a year only 5 ships can be come. 5 ships were welcome at Indian ports. The ships were equipped with cannons. Cannons, what is cannons here? Cannons means, yes, cannons means weapons. So the ship was loaded with weapons. The Portuguese had shipbuilding facility at Goa, Diu and Daman. Now they were also having the facility of building ships, and where it was again at the capital of Portuguese, Goa, Diu and Daman. Durable teak wood was of best quality, essential for building ships. Now the important thing was of shipbuilding, so they were using the best quality, which was of the ships were building up, teak wood. Okay, were available in this region, where in Goa, Diu and Daman. The Portuguese used to deploy seamen from Portugal to India. Now at that time they used to call the person from Portugal to India for having the help in building ships. Now see, this is the ship used from teak wood. The best quality of wood was used for building ships. Moving further, in those times, Indian rulers did not maintain a naval force. And the problem was that we were having small kingdoms in India, but our kings were not having, or they don't want to maintain a naval force. That was the problem. So Portuguese had find a golden opportunity over here again, that Indians ruler did not maintain a naval force. So therefore Indian rulers found it difficult to fight the strong naval forces of the Portuguese, and we do not know these tactics which were used by Portuguese to fight. So that was again a obstacle for Indian rulers. Only one exception was that of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj from Maratha Empire, who had built his own navy. Only for the first time in India at that time, the navy was of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. So the Dutch and the British defeated the Portuguese naval forces in the 17th century in the sea battle. Now see, this is the picture of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. He had his own navy, and that navy has fought by Portuguese navy. And what happened, that the Dutch and the British defeated Portuguese naval forces in 17th century in the sea battles. When the sea battle was fought, at that time Dutch and British has defeated Portuguese naval forces. Moving further, the Portuguese prohibited building of any religion monument except churches in the Indian provinces under their rule. Now after talking about the sea control, now here on the land they have denied building the religious monuments such as temples or mosques. This were prohibited by Portuguese. Only churches were given permission, that churches can be built on the Indian provision, as India was under the rule of Portuguese. They also prohibited celebration of religious festival or wedding functions. Now, apart from this religious monument, the religious festivals or the weddings functions were also prohibited. Celebration of functions, any kind of functions were prohibited. They were not allowing anyone to celebrate any kind of functions also. These Portuguese rulers also tried to suppress the local languages. Now, apart from building of monuments and celebration of any kind of festivals or wedding functions, they have also having their rule. They tried to suppress on local languages. Using of our own language were also suppressed by Portuguese rulers. People were offered employment. People were offered employment with the intention to attract. Now they were given the jobs. Employment were given, but by the intention, they are having intention behind it. And what the intention was? Intention was that the people will attract them to Christianity, that they will convert themselves, their religion, to Christianity. That was the intention behind offering the employment. In the beginning of their rule, they made Goa a free port. At the beginning, when they started their rule, at the time Goa was a free port. There were no charges of having any kind of trade, import and export. So there were no charges on the port of Goa. That resulted in attracting traders from various countries to Goa, and hence this was the plus point for them, that there was a golden opportunity that all the traders were attracted of doing trade by the port of Goa, as the port was free. That they don't have to pay any kind of charges on the port. So the traders were attracted and they were doing their trade from Goa. Hence, we have completed by our topic, first topic, that is Portuguese. Inshallah, in our next session, I am going to start by 3.2, that is British. How British has control over India. Okay. I hope the chapter is very easy, as we have already studied about Portuguese in our earlier videos also, as well as in our school section also we have studied about Portuguese. British, we are also familiar to British also, and it will be very easy for you people. Just have a reading from your textbook, so while explaining, when I am going to explain you, it will seem very easy for you people to understand it. Okay, till then, stay at home, stay safe. Thank you very much for listening.